unfortunate incident, the member representing my constituency, Ekiti East 1 constituency, passed on. And he happened to have come from my ward, Ward 7, in Ekiti East local government. When the election was declared, we thought it was going to be a family affair because Ward 7 comprises of all of us as one family in the ward. And we had agreed that both parties will be able to pick people from there so that the election will just be amongst families and friends. However, on the day of the day before the election, the candidate of the PDP had been attacked early in the morning, and the car had been vandalized and shot at. In fact, when I got there in the morning, I couldn't believe that could happen in my local government. Yes, we do have altercation during elections, but we never took it to such heights. And when we woke up in the morning, I decided I would go late to my unit because it's one of the most populous units. And again, I thought it was just an easy election. There was no need for any early arrival to forestall any trouble. I got there, I lined up, and I eventually voted. After voting, I just stepped aside to see if I could at least chat with people and observe what was happening. I just saw that there was an altercation just in front of the polling unit. And I told them it was not the best because on a day of election, you don't start small squabbles. And it is because some people, in their wisdom, had brought some sachets of gin to come and give others on the queue there. And I called them to order. They apologized, and I thought we shouldn't take it further because taking it further will just exacerbate the already bad situation. And as that passed, I found out that somebody had engaged in an altercation with another lady, and the next thing slapped her. Well, that erupted in another rumpus. While that was being settled, in came the leaders who were going from one unit to the other. And they didn't see me at first, but when they eventually came back and saw me, they exchanged pleasantries with me. And I told them that it was not good enough for too many people to be moving around on a day of election. And they understood and moved on. 2 minutes later, a bus that had parked ahead, I noticed the bus, and there came one young man. He came and stood in front of me with a gun. And he said, in our native dialect, "Yeye, you are the only one we respect. We will drop people here." I didn't know what drop meant until much later. "We'll drop people here." And I saw him with a gun. Somebody was screaming behind me, "That's a Beretta." I didn't know. So I asked him, I said, "I hope you're okay, because I don't know what you're talking about." I said, "Leave this place. Your people are busy. Why are there so many here?" And I said, "These are people who want to vote." He said, "Yeah, what are they doing here?" And I didn't know who he was. And so we were going back and forth. Then he just stretched his hand to the back, and out came boys. One of them was not dressed up to the torso. He had only a trouser on. And he came with a pump action. And the other young man just was spraying bullets just in order to pick the ballot box. I stood there while he picked the ballot box. And before we knew it, one of the people on the queue had dropped. There was a lady with them. And the lady was saying, "I drop one ton back bar." You know, it was like a movie. Before we knew it, one person was on the floor. As I was trying to go and get an ambulance for that, the lady I had chided earlier came out and said, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." The bullet hit the police woman that was manning the box at the back of the neck. I ran to her and she just came up with blood. So I said, "Put her on the floor. Let me go and get the ambulance." She eventually died 2 days ago. As I was going, I just heard someone chanting, "Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar." I looked back. He ran to me. He said, "Mommy, I don't want to die. I am the youth copper at the polling unit." The bullets had hit him in the ear and on the chest. So I quickly asked them to take him in my bus straight to the hospital. By the time I came back with the ambulance, another person was dead on the floor. And we decided to take all of them to the hospital to see how we can take them, because we don't have comprehensive health center. We have just primary health centers. By the time I would go and arrange and go to the police to ensure that things were done, I came back and found 2 people were in one hospital with bullet wounds. They said they were behind me. Bullet wounds on their cheeks, 2 of them. The APC agent had bullets, 2 of them, removed from his skull. We had a woman who had his own embedded in the bomb. An elderly woman had her hand pierced here with the bullet. By the time we were done, we had to take some to Ido, to intensive care. The youth copper, as I speak, is still at Ido because he was operated upon 3 days ago. And the bullets were removed. We're praying he survives and he can recuperate. At the end of it all, 3 people were dead, and about 10 others had been injured. Just because somebody wanted to remove the ballot box for a 5-ward election. Just 5 wards. And we had said whoever won did not matter to us because already there were 25 votes with the APC. There was no reason for the violence at all. And because we were a homogeneous community, we thought that should not have happened in any way. As it is, there are casualties on both sides. And some of us just narrowly escaped because everybody that was behind me took bullet wounds. And I just stood there watching it as if it was a movie. And anyone could just have been shot. I believe this is the time for the press to ask that the Electoral Offences Commission be set up. We need to criminalize certain aspects of electioneering. The first one is the fact that the security agents that were there were not allowed to carry arms. But hoodlums could carry arms. That's number one. We need to find a way whereby there will be one armed official who can shoot at sight anyone who wants to carry the ballot box. 2, we need to look at a situation whereby ballot boxes can be properly guarded so that nobody can come there and lift. Because I saw him, he took a gun in one hand and just was shooting with the gun, was pressing the trigger and just carried the ballot box and ran into the bus they brought. We need to look for maybe a heavy container whereby the ballot box will be situated so that nobody can come and snatch it at will. And we will only be able to open and take it out whenever we need to do the counting. That was very, very clear, because before they got to me, they had snatched 3 other ballot boxes. We must criminalize certain aspects of these laws. And except we do that, we will still find people who believe that they can still stuff ballots. INEC must also up its ante. Because if these people didn't have something with which they would stuff those ballot boxes, they would not be snatching. You can only snatch when you know that you have replacement. Where will the replacement come from? We need to also know. What is most important is that we must unravel the people who did this. If we do not, 2022 is our next election, and it's likely to be worse than what we have just seen. The governor was very, very effective in all of this, because as it happened, I couldn't get to speak with him. I called people who could get him. He took my call, and he assured me that before those people left my community, they will be arrested. And in fact, they were arrested before they left the community. 3 of them were arrested, and they have been arraigned. He told me they will be arraigned for murder. They were yesterday, and they have been incarcerated at the prisons, the correctional center at Ekiti. However, that is not enough. What is important is unraveling this. Nobody has spoken to us about the guns with which they committed the act. Everybody is silent about that. And the press needs to help us ask, what happened to those guns? They couldn't have shot people with knives. They must have shot with guns, because bullets were removed. And can I tell you that as they were shooting, some of them were picking the bullets. They just did not pick all. So, we must know the people who have done this. And it is in knowing them that we'll be able, that they will serve as deterrent to others that want to do such. And when we know them, we must ensure that we blacklist them, or they stay permanently in prison while elections take place outside. I believe government should be up and doing, and the state government too should also institute a commission of inquiry into the circumstance, so that we can nip all these issues in the bud. I thank you very much for having me. That is not yet in place. By the time the Electoral Act is signed into law, we are not likely to need that. But for now, if there is any other by-election to forestall this kind of thing, when people know they cannot lift the ballot box in any way, and that the ballot box is secured in something else, then at least we'll have some respite.
My name is Abiodun Olujimi. Given the fact that the Electoral Offences Commission is meant to deal with the perpetrators of crimes, and the chief crime officers behind this crime are the lawmakers themselves, do you think
No, not lawmakers.
Politicians. The politicians. Do you think it will see the light of the day? Then secondly, each time election is taking place in the state, the governor of that state is always interested. And this governor is highly protected from being protected. Do you think the commissioner, even if it is passed into law, will be able to handle people behind? Because no talk go on a mission without somebody sending them. So it's a gamut of so many. So how do we address?
That is the reason we're saying, when you fish them out and you prosecute them, these people have no liver. They're going to sing like canary. They will sing. You must push them to a point where they will tell you the people behind it. Even if you have immunity today, you can't have it tomorrow. You can't have it forever. And the minute these people tell us, the people behind them, it's so easy for us to handle them. When you know your enemy, you can at least move away from them. But what is important is for us to be able to prosecute these people to the extent where they will speak. What happens is that the prosecution, they will just mess up the processes, and then the court would not have a choice than to acquit them. And when you acquit them, they go on believing that they are immune. But if government can really push, that's why we said IGP now, because we don't want to leave it to the people at home. They did their best. In fact, it was early in the morning, at around 7, that the Commissioner of Police called me and said, I don't know, I just have a feeling you need security. I said, no, I don't need security, it's just ward election. And he said, no, let me give you 1 or 2. And he did, he sent them. And funny enough, I didn't take them to the polling center. I asked them to stay at home, because he thought people could attack me at home. And I said, okay, stay at home. Imagine if I had taken them there without arms, they would have been shot. Yeah.
They are not armed.
You can't arm them on an election day. They are just there for protection. And so we need to look at the gamut of laws and do them all over again. And now that the Electoral Act is still on, we need you to please look at it and tell us where to put a few things so that we can safeguard the lives of our people.
Question from Mr. John Akubo.
My name is John Akubo. There is a shortcut.
But looking at it in the interim, the only way to go is electronic voting. But trust our people. They always circumvent everything. And even the electronic voting, until when we've used it for a length of time and we see how efficacious it is, we won't be able to know. You don't be surprised that people might say, let's go back to what we used to have. But beyond it all, we need to move on in Nigeria. We need to be accountable. We need to know that no election is worth anybody's blood, and that elections take place regularly in 4 years. So if you miss it this term, you can take it the next one. There is need to educate our people, to let them know that this thing is not do or die, that if you miss it this time, you can get it the next time. And I believe that is the message for today. Thank you very much. Thank you.